welcome back to our Autumn Gym Challenge here, the finale League Cup at Psychoturtle Place in Pingree Bay, California. We welcome you back to the stream with a lot of temptations on the line here. I am Mrs. Cornell, joined with me by Dragonite. We have Brian Collins and Junxi for our round 2 coverage. Two top-heavy trainers in North America. Junxi in the top 5 in terms of championship points value, and it's going to be Brian's perspective, who also recently did well at Toronto Regionals with Hatterene, Needy Female, Torkoal, Ursaluna, Gallade, and Mousehold, while Junxi is going to be using Mousehold, Annihilate, Dragonite, Rillaboom, Golden Go, and Ursaluna. So one side is Trick Room, so we know what the game plan is for Brian. You know, it's a tried and true strategy. You know, we've seen Brian do it all the time, and I'm actually going to give him credit for this one because I heard rumors that people don't give him the credit that he deserves for playing Trick Room for other reasons. You know, I might have said it the last time I was here about a certain streamer, but you know, we'll give Brian his credit, we'll give Brian his due diligence, and Junxi has been consistent this whole entire season. You know, he got top cut into 2 regionals in Baltimore and Louisville, and he just stagnated his championship points value to a sky-high value to at least certify himself as one of the top trainers in North America. Game number 1 going to get underway with Dragonite, Ursaluna for Junxi. It's going to be Hatterene and Needy for Brian. So, a couple things. First thing is, well, you're probably going to get Trick Room up, which is a pretty good thing. The second thing is, how do you deal with Ursaluna and Dragonite as the lead? Because that's a damage dealer for both of Junxi's Pokemon. You know, not saying that Brian's Pokemon aren't damage dealers, but they don't do damage immediately, so it's really just, can you handle Scale Shot? Because that's the only Dragonite attack that it has on Junxi. And with these Ursaluna, you know, it's typical of a Headlong Rush Earthquake Facade as your primary attack, so you're able to launch out damage, you know, out of free will. It's more so like, what does Brian do here to combat? No Follow Me comes out, so Scale Shot is just going to land on an Needy. It's its only attacking move, so it cannot touch Needy as a Safari type. Without go to deciding that the Dragonite has, it will at the minimum hit the 4th hit, and that is a critical hit, and it stops at 4. It's going to lower defense and raise its speed, which is not going to be good for Trick Room, depending on what the Ursaluna does here, which is an Earthquake coming out. It's not going to be powered up because it's not Gut Boosted, because there's a Flame Orb. Indeed, he goes down, and depending on what Brian did with the Hatterene, it might be Lights Out. Nope, it's Trick Room. It is Trick Room coming out from this Hatterene, so now the Twisted Dimensions are up, and the Flame Orb is activated on Ursaluna to activate that Guts ability. And this is the point of the game where you ask yourself, okay, can Brian win the game pretty quickly? And I would assume the answer is yes, because this Torkoal's the slowest thing in Trick Room. It's getting able to launch their Eruption pretty much for free, because Junxi has no resist other than Dragonite. And because you have no resist other than Dragonite for that Eruption, it means not only will the multi-scale be broken, it also leaves Dazzling Gleam as the best damage to combo with this Hatterene, and making Junxi's life not great. Because the thing you can do is you can prevent Expanding Force by switching in a Rillaboom, but I think your safe bet is just click Dazzling Gleam, as you'll probably see a double Protect from Junxi to get out of Trick Room and start stalling it out. Nope, there is no Protect on the Dragonite, so you probably will go down this turn to a combination of Eruption and the Dazzling Gleam. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. That actually did a lot less damage than I was thinking it was going to do to the Dragonite. It could tank this, it's still super effective, and it does not. Okay. Crisis averted for Brian. That multi-skill really did pay off in the long run. That's one turn of Trick Room down for Junxi, and Rillaboom comes in here to override the Psychic Terrain into Grassy Terrain, meaning you can use Fake Out. But the question really is just, who do you Fake Out? Because if you Fake Out the Torkoal, it could mean that you are going to be taking a whole lot of damage on a lot. Well, Facade's going to knock out something, or head-on rush to Torkoal to make sure he gets knocked out. But I think Brian has a different eye on the situation where you're able to knock out, where Brian is counting on this Torkoal to finish out the Trick Room mode. And with Junxi using Protect on the Ursula last turn, it means that the Protect order is going to be a little awkward towards the end of the Trick Room option from Brian, because normally you would protect every other turn, every odd turn. As Terrifier comes out from Hatterene to make sure it's no longer going to take a lot of damage to Woodhammer, but it can also just launch a Terra Blast onto that Rillaboom for super effective damage here. Fake out goes into the Torkoal slot, so Ursula's going to take it pretty comfortably. Here comes Terra Blast Fire from this Hatterene. It goes into this Rillaboom, but does it knock it out? It does. Big damage to the Rillaboom. Fruity Assault Vest, that Sun Boost also coming in very handy. Facade doubles into the Torkoal slot, so Ursaluna does not take it. And with Ursaluna not being able to tank the attack, Junxi's in a really bad spot, because you gotta protect for 2 turns in front of Eruption if you're gonna stand a chance to get out of the Trick Room. And I think that's the only thing that the Junxi's Psy can do, because as we see, it is Mousepool that is the last Pokemon for Junxi, and the only thing I think Junxi can do is double protect in front of Eruption and Dazzling Gleam, because if you don't get out of Trick Room, you lose the game. If you get out of Trick Room, you win the game. The game is getting so simplified right now for Brian and Junxi. Junxi needs to double protect twice on both his Pokemon to make sure he gets out of the trigger, or you just go for Feint to reduce the Eruption damage in the short term. Here's Eruption coming out from Brian's Torkoal. Okay, well, critical hits the Torkoal. Double critical hit! Okay, that might be a sign for Brian. That might be a sign that this game is going to be his. Well, it is his, because he did win game number 1. That, Brian, you know, he didn't get shut down at all. That was just perfect. I can't help but think that even though the double critical hit never mattered at all, I can't help but think that might be a sign for Brian that this is his destiny and he's going to be able to beat Junxi in advance to 2-0 in the tournament, you know. It's just something incredible you can just do. And I think the game plan for Brian is going to have to remain the same for game number 2 because, well, it's Trick Room. You got it off. You won the game because Junxi didn't really have much to deal with the offense that Brian offered in the Trick Room. And really, the mining is coming in only in turn 1 because Junxi thought Indeedee was going for Trick Room, when in fact, it never did. And then for Junxi, well, you need to find a way to get past the Trick Room because the only mind game you really have is who Trick Rooms. Because when you let Dragonite, you're already saying, okay, well, Indeedee has to go for Trick Room because I cannot touch the Hatterene because of the Fairy typing unless it terrestrializes into fire, which you were never able to force. So I think something that Junxi can do is lead with that Golden Go to pressure the Hatterene to go to Terra Fire. And then launch to Make It Rain. And when you do that, you give the Dragonite a target with Scale Shot, so it's pretty good to do that, but it also has to depend on how trained the Dragonite and Golden Go are, because there is also just the possibility of Golden Go, you know, not being able to knock out either Pokemon, as we see a different lead from Junxi in this game 2 here, being the Annihilate and the Ursaluna, while Brian's sticking with the Hatterene and Indeedee lead in game 1. Having a look here, yeah, this is interesting to say the least, because this Annihilate does have Final Gambit, so it is able to knock out something within itself. And yeah, that's just a safe play you can do here, which is, I think it's going to have to be that Final Gambit Earthquake play from Junxi. You know, Earthquake isn't going to knock out anything, unfortunately, so Junxi's plan really is to just wing it with Trick Room once again, which I think screams a lot of Brian having a matchup advantage. Yeah, there's Final Gambit. It's going to go into the AED. How much HP? 0 HP left, so Annihilate did have enough HP to knock it out. Headlong rush into the Hatterene. It is not enough for a knockout on this Hatterene, unfortunately, from Ursaluna. It's going to lower defenses. Trick Room goes up once again, and now, how does Junxi respond to this Trick Room? Because, once again, his only outs really is timing protect turns and fake out turns on the Rillaboom. You can fake out the Hatterene to try and knock it out, but you can't flinch it, which is an issue. But there is no Torkoal immediately. It's the Ursaluna from Brian. And here comes Junxi's very own Rillaboom to fake out whatever it desires. I think the fake out has to go to the Hatterene, but I think the safer thing is just Grassy Glide, because you don't have to rely on fake out damage to knock it out if you get out Grassy Glide. But the other mind game there is basically, do you think it's going to Terra Fire? Because I don't think it will Terra Fire. I think it's likely that Brian just clicks Dazzling Gleam plus either Protect or Headlong Rush into the Ursaluna. You could just Protect as well to get the Flame Orb up and get it burned, and then provide itself with the Torkoal in the back, but goodness gracious, this is going to be a very tall task for Junxi to get out of. Really going to swap out, so whatever comes in probably going to be in danger. Oh, it's Golden Go. It's Golden Go. Oh boy. So we know nothing is safe from Eruption out of Junxi's end. This is also a choice spec, so it cannot protect whatsoever. So two of Junxi's Pokemon are weak to Eruption from Torkoal should Brian have it. Facade unfortunately goes into the protect of the Ursaluna from Brian after Junxi tried to attack with his Ursaluna. And Hatterene gets off scotch-free with Dazzling Gleam launched into the Ursaluna. And the Flame Orb now activates on the Ursaluna. Going to go ahead and activate that Guts ability now that it is burned. This Golden Go is not safe whatsoever. It is not a defensive Terra. Ursaluna going to switch out to make sure that special defense and defense drops are both compensated for by getting rid of them by switching in the Rillaboom. But that is also just equally a risk as well. The Terra coming out. And where is it going? It's the Golden Go, hopefully, hoping that it survives and launches and Make It Rain. That's all it's trying to do. It's trying to survive, it's trying to launch and Make It Rain. If it's able to do both, we can speak of a different game. Hatterene launching and expanding force, single target into this Rillaboom, not doing a whole lot of damage immediately. Headlong Rush, unfortunately, goes into the Golden Go, so it will survive the turn. So Terra's gone, Rillaboom has to fake out once again. There's 2 turns left at Trick Room, but Junxi is down to just 2 Pokemon left, being Ursaluna that's likely mitigated because of the Force Protect, and then Rillaboom that has to fake out or risk a knockout. I'm trying to see if there's an out for Junxi to get out of this game, because, well, there should be a Torkoal in the back, I think, for Brian, unless, of course, he's finding a life outside Trick Room.